Hi and welcome to this week's video. In this week's video I'm going to play with the lower cowl. Let's see what I get up to. Come on then. Okay, right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make up so like the rear outlet curved sections for the lower cowl, either side of the air intake or on the air filter. I'm going to use these sort of disposable gas bottles as a mould. They're empty, by the way, just in case you're wondering. And as a release agent, I'm just using a beeswax, plain beeswax furniture polish. Applied that, let it dry, give it a little bit of a wipe over. So that's ready to go. So now I'm going to mix up some resin. So we're going to go for about 60 grams. I think. I think I'll probably make it 50 actually, looking at that. So 50 grams, and the usual proportional mix which I do with this is about 1.5%. So I'm to 2, so I'm just going to add 1 gram of MEKP. Move that, turn that off. Brush ready. So, just a cheap brush. I'm not even going to bother cleaning that. I'll dispose of it. So I get this lot mixed. The purpose of this piece of cardboard over here is so I can wet out the chop strand mat, because that can be problematic. To start off with, I'm just going to brush resin straight onto here. Lay my glass twill onto that, and then we'll give it a bit of a stipple. We'll try and get that resin through, but the reason for putting the resin on the mould first off is that's where I sort of drive the air out. If I try to put resin on top of the twill and drive it down, I'll have air stuck in there, which is not what I want at all. Although I probably will have a few little voidy bits which we'll be able to sort out with a bit of filler. So that's nicely wetted out. Now for the chop strand, I'm just going to brush that straight on. I might not have enough resin. There's pure. Now the reason for wetting out the chop strand is it's got what's sometimes termed as a size in it. Which could be a powder, and that sort of bonds the fibres together, so that you don't end up with it just all over the place. So I want to sort of soften that lot so it actually conforms to the shape of the tin. I've made it wider than the twill cloth, quite deliberately, because I want it to make sure it sags right the way around. Let's see if I've got enough resin here. I think I'm just going to be just shy. Yeah, we're just shy, so just mix up another. I don't mix less than 25 grams. I just find you just can't get it accurate enough. There we go. Do make sure you actually, when you're doing the mixing, you get right to the very bottom of the pot, otherwise you can end up with areas which aren't getting the catalyst, the MEKP, and you don't want that. Get soaked through. You'll see that the glass has reacted now with the resin and sort of softened itself up a little bit, so I'm just making sure the fibres are nicely laid down. This side I'll give a very light sanding. Once it's all done, just to make sure I haven't got any sort of nasty hairy bits sticking out to catch people. Alternatively, you could put tissue over it, but as this is going to be bonded onto another item, I don't really want to put tissue over it, but you could put tissue over it to give it a smoother surface. Just making sure I can't see any air trapped. That brush I'm just going to let dry. So we'll come back to it in a little bit of time, and we'll peel this off. Hopefully we'll catch it while it's in what we call the green, where it's sort of semi-cured, and I can cut a nice straight edge with a knife and a rule, and then we can let it go the rest of the cure, and then we can trim it with a Dremel for where it goes onto the cowl, and I get the angles I want on the cowl. Okay then, so this should be partly cured now. We'll hopefully peel it off. and should be able to trim it. Yes, we'll turn the green stage. It's still very flexible. I can get okay. So I've got quite a nice sort of surface finish there. I'll just grab my tatty steel rule. See if I can do this so you can see. I'm just literally putting that along there. Within this green stage it cuts nice and easily. There you go. And that'll sit on the cowls or something like that. I'll trim it from about the sort of 90-degree position. You can sort of see it's still quite very, it's not cured by any stretch of the imagination. As I said, it's in the green stage. So now I've just trimmed it just so it doesn't lose its shape. I just leave it on top of those, and that'll be ready for me to work on in a couple of hours time, or a few hours time. Probably won't touch it till tomorrow now. Well, here are the bits which I've cut out from those laminations. Just trimmed those. I use just a hacksaw blade for doing it, with the teeth pointing back, so you're on the pull stroke. Sometimes I wrap tape around the end of it once it's gone off, and then I've cut this section out of the cowl. I need an extra bit going, a bit more removed going forward for the air filter. The air filter doesn't sit centrally on the aircraft, but I've made the cowl so it sits also central. So these little fellows now will get bonded on. I'll do a little bit of sanding, make sure they have a good fit. We'll fit on there. What I'll do is I'll make sure it's got a good reasonable joint all the way along. I'll put tape on here. I'll sand this surface here so it's clean of any release agents and bits and pieces. I've already sanded the top of these, degreased them first, and away we go. So I'll set these up with some tape, a bit of tape to make sure they sit at the right angle, and then I'm going to lay in a little bit of glass cloth underneath. I decided that actually before I put the glass cloth on, I could do the glass clothing all in one go. I just tacked it in position on both sides using a little bit of P40, Icebond P40 sort of body filler, the type that's it's glass, very fine glass chopped strand with resin mix. I just used that, and I pressed that into the joint using my gloved hands. Right, so I've put the glass cloth in this area and a piece going across the corner there. There'll be some filler going in on the other side of that, just to sort of smooth it, but that'll make this a bit more rigid so it can't flutter in the breeze hopefully too much. we've got our cutout there, that'll be just trimmed back. And there's the minor little repair that I made to deal with the section which I cut out too far. That'll need to be trimmed and of course drilled. I'm now going to just put some filler on the other side of everything. Let that go off, then I can trim everything back and you can see what state we're at. Well, that's it for this week. Didn't get as far as I thought I would do. I had the last couple of days I haven't been able to get on to finishing off the bits on the cowl, so we'll get that done next week, and we're starting getting bits sorted out on it, ready to get to the point where I can actually paint it. I'm not sure whether I will paint it just now or I'll paint it at some stage in the future, but I want to get it ready so that I can put the fasters in and all that lot sorted out, and once I've proved the whole thing works together, we'll go from there. So hopefully you'll keep well and look after yourselves, and if the weather improves I might even get some flying in. So bye for now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. You can subscribe or even hit the little bell notification for future videos. Any comments would be appreciated and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, go fly and feel the sky.